our Commissioner of Transportation, Diane Gutierrez-Scaccetti.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It's such a privilege to be here with all of you. Certainly Mayor Mironov, thank you for hosting us today. We're here today because we are getting ready to announce our cycle of municipal aid grants that pertain particularly to certain types of transportation that are not necessarily contained in our regular grant program. And today we're going to talk about bikeway grants. As many of you know, the department under the authorization created some grants that are funded through your state gas tax dollars. So when people ask where some of your 23 cents goes, we're going to show you a little bit of that today. But what I think is so great for us today is to announce that East Windsor is one of 3 recipients that will get a bikeway grant. And the grant is in the amount of $450,000, and it will extend the Union Trail 3.2 miles from Old York Road further into Mercer County. And what's the significance of that? Well, first of all, there were 41 grant submissions for a total of $1 million in grants. And East Windsor was one of the 3 successful towns. In addition, they're receiving almost half of the allocated amount for this bike path. And what's the importance of a bike path? Today, in the world we live in, people want to have the opportunity to do different types of recreational activity. People are mobile in a different way. And so we need to make sure that as a department, I always often say we're the Department of Transportation, and maybe 20 years from now we'll be the Department of Mobility. I'm not entirely sure. But we need to make sure that we're providing different ways for people to get where they need to go. Sometimes it's on 4 wheels, sometimes it's on 2 wheels, sometimes it's on 2 feet. But at the end of the day, we have to be looking at all those alternatives as we provide grants to towns. This is a very important project, and I compliment the mayor and the legislative delegation for their continued persistence with the department and to demonstrate their commitment to actually delivering the projects that we fund. So many of you have probably heard me speak, and I often talk about my friend Mayor Picolicki down in Woodstown. Well, Mayor Mironov is the Central Jersey version of Mayor Picolicki, right? She's entirely persistent on behalf of the town. She's a huge advocate for all of her constituents, and certainly because of that, we know that when we provide grants to East Windsor, that money is going to be spent, and it's going to be spent wisely. And when we look at transportation, for us, we have to make sure that when we allocate funds, as you all know, those funds get spent, and that they get spent in the time frames that they have to get them in, that they are beneficial to the communities that they serve, and we think this project is phenomenal. We had in total grants, $18.1 million of requests. What does that tell us as a department? It tells us that this is becoming very, very competitive, and there's such a great need for us to continue to look at the variety of mobility options that we offer. So we are happy that we could be here today with you, Mayor. This is a phenomenal success for East Windsor. We're very proud to partner with you and to certainly continue to support your agenda for transportation in East Windsor. And with that, it is my great pleasure to introduce Mayor Mironov. Not only a great mayor, but a great partner.
Commissioner, thank you very much on behalf of our governing body and our entire community. This is really a very exciting announcement and award to East Windsor Township. We are really, really grateful because these resources are the type of support which both enable the project to go forward, but also underscore our joint goals and missions to expand our bicycle trails and pathways within East Windsor Township and the region. So thank you so much on behalf of East Windsor Township. So we very much share the Commissioner's mission of providing additional opportunities, especially off-street, for our bicyclists and for our pedestrians here in East Windsor Township. We have been very proactive in a number of projects, and this is without question the most ambitious project that we have undertaken. The trail is over $3.2 million, that's what I wish I over 3.2 miles extension to the existing Union Transportation Trail, which runs through Monmouth County. As indicated, the termini for the trail will be where the existing trail ends in Monmouth County, which is in the area of Robbinsville and County Route 539. And it will go through East Windsor Township, but it'll actually pass through 2 of our community parks and end up in the area of Airport Road at the intersection of Route 33. So the project has dramatic advantages for our community. It really will be a great asset for bicyclers throughout East Windsor, Mercer County, as well as the region. And so it's just a really terrific project, and the support is just invaluable for us to be able to move forward. I will also just indicate that we have started some preliminary design on the project, and I can't indicate strongly enough how excited the entire community has been. We have heard from residents throughout East Windsor. We've heard from students and young people, all of whom are really looking forward to this project going forward and to ultimately its completion and linking into this much greater network of bikeways. And the value of it has been recognized by a number of the transportation groups in the region as well. It's part of their trail plan. And so again, it's a great day for East Windsor. I think it's a great day for Mercer County and for the state of New Jersey. And again, we really are grateful for the tremendous support by the Commissioner and the Department of Transportation for this project that is going to serve so many people.
So another thing I think that's important for all of us to know is if we weren't able to provide $450,000, that would have been a tremendous burden on local taxpayers to try to build this. It probably would not have happened. So again, to continue that mission of making sure that we try to keep property taxes in check, we're making certain that the department does its share to provide these kinds of facilities for communities without necessarily impacting their tax base. So I think that helps the mayor, because I'm not sure, you know, in the scheme of the DOT budget, $450,000 is kind of, you know, when we're looking at road projects, it's not a lot of money. But to a community, it's a lot of money. And so this is just, again, many of you know about our commitment to communities that we work on every day at the department. I think this is just another example of the department trying to meet its commitment to East Windsor.
And I'll just echo that.
Yep.
We do always recognize that when we receive grants of this significant nature, that it does in fact provide a resource that, but for that, we would have to look to our local taxpayers to be able to underwrite these types of major projects, which would become a much more of a challenge for us and really provide a different consideration regarding our ability to move forward on the project. So this really is an enabler for us in East Windsor to be able to seriously move forward, continue the planning, the engineering, and the construction of what is really a very dynamic and exciting project.
So the mayor and I are happy to take any questions you have regarding the bikeway. If not, you're welcome to come up and look at the maps. And yes.
Yeah, hi. Can you comment on the construction timeline and where the other half of the funding will come from?
Okay. So we are right now in the preliminary engineering and concept stages of the project. We have an engineer that is on board. We had received an initial grant from the Delaware Valley Regional Planning Commission to underwrite those efforts. Another regional planning body which has recognized the value of this project. So we are moving forward on that aspect. We will be continuing the final details of that. We'll be having some public presentations to make sure that the plan is one that has community buy-in and that we are doing a project in a way that's consistent with our local residents. We then anticipate moving to the next stages of final engineering and then ultimately construction. I will say that we have received really significant support, as I indicated, from the DVRPC. We have had other reach out from advocates of these trail systems, and we are very optimistic and upbeat that we will be able to receive additional support from some of those groups toward the total bill for the construction.
and I'm gonna go out on a limb and suggest that the mayor can probably submit a second grant application, as many towns do, to finish the construction. So again, it's important, you know, and I'm gonna go into my pure DOT mode here. Even if something costs $1 million, to give you $1 million now that you may not spend for two years, then only hurts me giving another town the ability to also start a project. So we like to what we call cash flow fund. So the mayor is certainly going to put in for municipal aid grants, as she always does, and she will put in for every grant that we have available to us, because that's what she does, and that's what we like, right? No, we laugh, and again, Mayor Picolicki and Mayor Mironov are probably two of the strongest mayors in terms of working the DOT grant program, right? And really coming to the table to fight for money out of those programs, and that's hugely important to all the things that you want done in your community. So I have no doubt that there will come a time, whether it's through DVRPC, which is the Delaware Valley Regional Planning Association, or through the department, that they will come back to us. Now, the follow-up question is, well, what will the department do? We really aren't interested in half-finished projects, right? So we hope that the value of that application coming back in will be complete enough, and certainly make sure that we can look at that application favorably. It will compete as it always does, but at the end of the day, we don't want to start things we can't finish, whether it's the department or inside a community.
Hi, John Boyle from representing the Circuit Trails Coalition. I was wondering, do you have any preliminary plans of how the trail will cross over the turnpike?
So once again, and I do want to indicate, this is kind of a fast draw. It does show the termini, and basically, but it does. It's not quite as straight as that. It's an initial concept to show where in the community the trail will go. We have had meetings with the engineer regarding that area, and we do have further details, and we'd be happy to share them with you outside the meeting today. Obviously, is one of the challenges of the project is how to cross at that particular point. But again, it is something, we've had several working meetings, and we do have some solid ideas on how to move forward on that.
And I think fair to say, again, the mayor, when we were doing the turnpike widening, that came straight through, right? And we added those lanes, which has been a phenomenal benefit in terms of reducing congestion and moving traffic, which at the end of the day, if we're gonna have cars, better that they not idle, right? So that has been a success, but your mayor was an extraordinarily staunch advocate for how that happened through your town. So she has good working relationships at the Turnpike. As a matter of fact, John Keller, who is our executive director, and the mayor worked extraordinarily closely to make sure that that project's executed the way she visioned it. And certainly I think that that's gonna be the same relationship there. And as chair of the New Jersey Turnpike Board of Directors, I have no doubt that we will collaborate to make sure it gets done. This is not the first time a bike trail has had to cross a major highway. Coming from Florida, I would tell you they do it all the time, right? And we do bike crossovers that are not pedestrian, they're for bikes only, that we build to make sure that they make all the right geometric size for the bike, and the bikes can make it over, and all the geometry is correct. I have no doubt that we can accomplish the same thing here in New Jersey.
Thank you.
Thank you.
With that, please feel free to look at the boards. Thank you for all coming. We look forward to our continued partnership with the mayor and with the town of East Windsor.
And thank you once again, really, for your support on this really outstanding bicycle trail, as well as your support on any of our other goals in the community.
Absolutely.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you.